This is another edition in the Solutions series, and this time on the justice system. I really should have written down some notes to make this a little more ordered, but there's a lot wrong with the justice system, and like all the rest of these broken systems, I think there are a lot of fixes, a lot of ways to just tweak the system where you can, make it, give it a lot more integrity. And a problem I've run into, just in terms of my experiences with the justice system, is that the judges are all bums. I mean, they're just liars and bums. And they're politicians. They have no integrity, have no respect for their constitution, have no respect for their responsibility, because they're basically made their career as lying lawyers, and lawyers are liars. I haven't met an honest one yet. So right there, the system has a real problem, but that's something that can be fixed by fixing the politics. We get honest politicians, we'll get honest judges. So we have to fix the democracy first, as I've said in other videos. So anyway, that's one part of the system. Another part is juries. People have talked about for years, I've heard it here and there, it doesn't get much press, doesn't get much discussion. The idea of having professional juries, I don't find it offensive at all. I think it makes perfectly good sense to do something to correct this problem where you have to basically put complete idiots on a jury, because anybody who answers a question honestly can't get on the jury. I mean, the OJ case is a perfect example. If you watched the news or gave an honest opinion about what you understood about the case, you couldn't get on that jury. The only way to get on that jury was to be a liar and say, no, I didn't see anything, I don't know anything, I don't even know who OJ is, whatever, I mean, you had to lie to get on that jury. And so I would think, I think anyway, we could have higher standards. So even if we didn't go to professional jurors, which I think would make sense, I think it would save us even money in the long run anyway, because we would have to go through this whole process of, pulling people out of work and pulling them out of the real world, and interviewing them and go through all this stuff, because we would have people could make $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 a year to serve on juries, and they'd be obligated, and they'd be informed, and they'd understand the process. And I think that's they would understand what DNA was, and they would understand what evidence has credibility and what isn't, because they would have heard an awful lot of testimony. I mean, they would gain a lot of experience, and there's nothing wrong with experience. So anyway, even if people won't go for that, which I don't know why they wouldn't, just because it's, people just get so caught up in this idea that we have to do everything the way they did 300 years ago or 200 years ago. It's really stupid. We can improve systems, and there's no reason why we shouldn't try to improve this one. So anyway, even if they won't go for that, I would argue that, at least we have to have a minimum on a jury of one honest person. So I would say that the foreman of the jury, to be a foreman on a jury, that individual would have to take a polygraph examination. They could have these people on staff at the court, and they could just do a nice, 40-minute examination, and just to make sure that they had this person could pass a lie detector test. And if they don't, then they just could pick another member of the jury and go through the process until they find somebody who can pass the test. And the test wouldn't be that demanding, just the idea that, yes, you intend to process this jury deliberation in an honest manner, hearing all opinions, and you're going to try to ensure that justice is served. Just some kind of simple statement like that. And if you're not carrying any bias, and you have no intention to do anything counter to the intent of this judicial process. And so at least, like I said, we'd have at least one honest person on the jury, and I think that would do a lot to eliminate, these really horrible juries there have been. I mean, I've seen, OJ cases, the only example. There's cases, I saw a case against GM because one of their trucks exploded, from a side impact, a truck made in the 60s, and, it was just so outrageous, and it was a $30 billion judgment against them, and it was just, the evidence was just preposterous. A guy crashes into a truck, a drunk, at 70 miles an hour into the truck in an intersection, hits it in the side, and the truck catches fire. Big surprise. It was just disgusting. But anyway, I mean, I'm no fan of corporations, but it was just the silliest lawsuit I'd ever seen. And obviously the jury was morons. I mean, they didn't even, they didn't think gasoline spilled on the ground would burn. And, just idiotic. But anyway, won't even go there. I want to get to the real good point here. So anyway, fixing juries would be a good idea. All right, the other problem is the whole double jeopardy thing. Obviously, yeah, we don't want to be having people just getting harassed by crazy prosecutors, okay, out to get them. So yes, double jeopardy makes sense, okay? So the idea that you can't be tried twice for the same crime makes some sense. Makes a lot of sense even. But there's no reason why we shouldn't have a safety net. We shouldn't have a plan B when things go preposterously wrong, like they did in the OJ case. There's no reason, there's a ton of murderers out there that have gotten away with murder. And everybody knows it, I mean, everybody knows they're murderers. And they got away with it just because the first prosecution screwed up and they don't have a right to prosecute a second time, even though they have, decisive evidence. It doesn't matter. And so, yeah, in the OJ case now we have him videotaped in his Bruno Mali shoes. I mean, we have him. He's caught. He's dead, on the evidence. We don't even need the blood evidence anymore because we see him wearing the murder shoes. So anyway, we don't even go in there. But the point is that there are cases where this is gratuitous. The guy's gotten away with murder, and we should do something about it. We shouldn't let that happen. And all we have to do is make a simple change. I mean, if we gave the Supreme Court the right to reopen 5 cases a year, I mean, I would say if 10 would be better, but whatever. I'll just go for 5. Look, these are the highest court in the land. These are the most theoretically responsible, intelligent people our society can, generate. I think we can give them this responsibility, and I think there's nothing but we only gain from it, because these murderers will be scared to death, that they just can't get away with it anymore, because they're always going to be vulnerable to the Supreme Court saying, yes, you can try him again, because the first prosecution was just a disaster, and the prosecutors screwed up, and the N-word came up, or some other bullshit that made a mockery of the trial. And so yes, we can try him again. And like I said, how many, at the worst case scenario, 5 people in America get harassed by the Supreme Court? Best case, and that's the worst case. And even in that worst case, all the OJs and the rest of them would still be scared to death. So, even for that benefit. But we all know, look, like I said, the Supreme Court is going to want to do what the public wants, and so they're going to want to sit there and go after these people, that the most egregious cases, and there's really no crime in that. I don't see anything dangerous here, nothing but benefit. And we fix the liability of double jeopardy. So we're no longer paying a price for it socially. We're no longer putting murderers back on the street based on stupid technicalities. But we'll still have realistically all the benefits of double jeopardy. Prosecutors are still going to be afraid to make mistakes. They're still going to be serious in their first prosecution because they know the Supreme Court's not going to have an unlimited ability to reopen cases. So we lose nothing and we gain everything in terms of giving this system more credibility. And so this is a change. It's just, another one of these, look, they all seem so simple to me, and they all seem so obvious. And it's stupid that, that we can't get anything changed, that nobody will allow this system to be fixed, because they all can be fixed. They can be improved, they can be made better, and it just isn't happening, and it's very frustrating.